Hey, so I am going to be selling my Gallardo Superleggera. This video is going to entail a cold start, and then we're going to go for a pretty long drive. You can skip some parts that are better, and then we'll do a full walk around, and I'll talk about the history of the car and share all the details that you need to know. So let's get to it. Thanks. Here's a cold start video. Car's been sitting for a couple days. I'll turn on the lights so you can see the gauges. Turn the radio off. No oil pressure, no oil temperature, battery voltage, coolant. Trunk is open. There you go. Good oil pressure at idle. Goes to about 5 bar, 6 bar, and then settles down to about 2. Rolled up the windows to just have a clip of me driving on the road. Steering is immaculate, steers perfectly, drives perfectly straight, balance is great, alignment, sitting in 6th gear, about 70 miles per hour, 3,000 RPM, just perfect, really. Coolant temperatures, warms up really quickly, so once you get it up, warmed up. Right now I'm looking at coolant temperatures, just below the middle mark. So like right under, I think it's 90 Celsius. I think that's the gauge. About 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's typical for Audi. I did replace the thermostat, so that's cool. It looks like I have good oil temperature now, so we can start having a little bit of fun, right? So yeah, we'll skip to the part where I get on it, have a little bit more fun, and so we can stretch its legs just a little bit. So messed it up. I hope that shows that this car still rips. Not the best driving time, I suppose. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks. All right, so let's do a quick walk around, and I can show you the details of the car. So, looking at the engine bay first, I already have the trunk popped. Come back to the engine and talk about what I did to it, what you need to do when you purchase it, everything like that. But pretty good, pretty good. Carbon diffuser, original Superleggera exhaust. That's unique to this car. I have the original mesh right here. I have a new bumper support bracket underneath, so all this mesh is nice and secure, held in all nicely. Original Superleggera wheels and original carbon ceramic brakes. So I measured all the calipers for thickness and weight, and they're all within spec. So no need to replace those anytime soon. Really, they last for the lifetime of the car. So rear brake pads are in good shape. I replaced the fronts about 2,000 miles ago when I first got the car. All the hardware for the mounting hat for the carbon ceramic brake is upgraded titanium fasteners, and they're OEM Lamborghini. So there's actually a recall on these brake rotors at one point for the LP640 Murcielago and the Gallardo Superleggera, as well as non-Superleggera cars with carbon ceramic brakes. So this is the updated, upgraded titanium fasteners that don't rust out, which is nice. And you have the carbon OEM side skirt, Superleggera stripe, inlet ducting, inlet for the airbox, original carbon Superleggera mirror, I already popped the hood, so that's why you see that crease. Same thing for this side. Another OEM carbon mirror. Superleggera stripe, side skirt. Rear carbon ceramic. Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. Yeah, great tires. So we can go to the front. Something I want to show you in the front first. Just grab under here. So I have all the original toolboxes, CD player, another toolbox. You might wonder why this is out. So I'm going to recommend that you have this car on a battery tender. That's what this is. It's a C-Tech battery tender, same as like what Lamborghini recommends. This is for the trunk light. So the trunk light will stay on forever if you leave it plugged in. So I just have it loose because the trunk is going to be popped every time you put the battery tender on. So something to keep in mind, and answer that if you have any questions, of course. And the most important thing I want to show you in here is it is signed by Valentino Baboni. I think it was in 2011. I'll close that. Look at the engine, or excuse me, let's look at the interior first. Original Superleggera door card. Get out of the sun here. So instead of the base Gallardo just saying Gallardo, it actually says Superleggera here, so that's pretty unique. Alcantara interior. So it has the contrast stitching on the seats, on the floor mats, as you can see. All right. And then it has it on the dash, and then also on the roof. You can see that contrast stitching that runs throughout. And then on the seats, you can see the Superleggera stitching on the seats. So this car came with two options in Europe and Canada and stuff like that. You got the option of like the bucket seats, right, which are like a Sparco. But these are, in the America region, you only get these base like Gallardo seats, but then they're clad with Alcantara and then the contrast stitching. Carbon interior, OEM. All right. Even the e-brake handle's carbon. Usually you don't see this in carbon, so which is very unique, so that's very cool. Even the glove box handle's carbon. And then the surround for the aircon. And then the gauges in the top. And then I rebuilt all these little vents so they actuate all nice and turn all smooth and everything like that, so that's good. OEM RNSE radio. Works pretty well, actually. Probably listen to your AirPods while you're driving this car. Lights. Move around to the other side. We'll get to the engine in just a second. OEM Superleggera carbon door card on the other side. This is all one monolithic piece, keep in mind. It's pretty impressive. Superleggera on the panel again. Looking at the footwell, you have that Superleggera floor mat, and then brake and accelerator. Superleggera seat. And then the stitching on the other side. It actually came with a fire extinguisher, so that's the original fire extinguisher here, which is interesting. Carbon surround on the dash, and then those white gauges are actually specific to the Superleggera. OEM glass, all Lamborghini glass. Doors close appropriately. It has that little thing where it comes down just a hair, and then it pops back up, so calibrated correctly. This is actually polycarbonate, and that's pretty interesting. We can talk about this in a little bit. These stickers are actually from Switzerland, so we can talk about that for a second. But moving to the engine, 5-liter even fire V10, original block, original heads. The bottom end has been completely rebuilt, so the bottom end has a set of CP Carrillo rods. Those are just off-the-shelf H-beam rods. And then to match that, we also have a set of CP Carrillo pistons that are custom built to this motor. So the cylinder walls are prone to scoring because they're alusil. And to fix that, I rebuilt the motor with Nikasil cylinder walls. So I needed to get custom pistons for that, and they are custom built to the inspection media report for this specific motor. So pretty high spec stuff. Stock compression ratio, which is always good. And then rings and special coating to actually match the Nicosil. So, and then to top it all off, the crankshaft has been balanced with bob weights to match. So it's all one cohesive package. Pretty nice. Cylinder heads completely rebuilt. They are the base cylinder heads, and then I put in Farah intake valves, and then TRW exhaust valves. And then to complement that, new valve springs, keepers are original, lifters and everything like that are original. So really professionally rebuilt. All the cylinder head work was done by a professional, and as well as the bottom end work. So the only thing I really did was put it back together and time it. In terms of timing, it has all new timing system. So all the chains that are prone to failure on this car, and like the B6 S4, like the Audi, share a lot of commonality. So a lot of these chain guides are shared with the B7 RS4, which are upgraded. And it's something that you'll see on like a LP560 Gallardo. So that's good. New air intakes. At one point, the wiring harnesses were replaced maybe 7 years ago, something like that, before I purchased the car. All these lines, all these expansion tank lines that run underneath the car, all have been replaced, and then as well as in the front. So you have these coolant expansion tank lines that crack, all been replaced. New differential fluid, right? Original transmission, e-gear. I did note how, this car is prone to cylinder wall scoring, and I would suspect that I have a good positive correlation that is due to the catalytic converters. So I did is I took out the cats and then put in Larini test pipes, and I have the original cats if you need them. So I would not recommend putting them on. Larini sells a really, really nice catalytic converter. So if you want to put cats on this car again, or if you need to, I would recommend doing that. I would not recommend putting the the original cats on. So food for thought. Front diff has been cleaned and refurbished and resealed. It was leaking a little bit, so I'll show you a picture of that underneath the car. Underneath of the car is pristine. I have photographs I can share with you and some videos as well. New e-gear line, or excuse me, new high lift system line. So this car is equipped with HLS. So power steering pump on the motor, is actuated by a solenoid, so you get hydraulic pressure, and then it lifts the front end. So you have a line that goes all the way underneath, and that's been replaced as well. The only way you can do that is by pulling the motor. So that's been replaced. That's really it. So for this car, I'd recommend, if you are the lucky purchaser, I would recommend Rotella T6 540. That's what the engine builder recommends. It has a lot of ZDDP, which is good for bearing health and all sorts of other factors. So I'd recommend that. Needs another oil change in about 1,000 miles. So keep that in mind. And yeah, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And good luck. I hope you are the lucky purchaser of this car, because I sure enjoyed it. Alrighty, thanks. Okay, one last thing before I go. This car actually spent time in Europe, quite significantly. So originally it was delivered to New York, and it was a American import car, American spec. But the first owner, I'm the third owner, the first owner took it all over Europe. So they actually imported it into Europe temporarily and drove it all over Europe. So it's been to the Lamborghini factory 3 times. The first time it was manufactured there, and then the second 2 times was just to visit. So pretty storied history, and kind of explains why there's so much mileage on this car. But the first owner really took care of it. I have service records back to about 2010. I don't have anything older than that because the dealership went debunked in 2008, 2009, something like that. So I have service records up to about 2010, and on my YouTube channel I also have a lot of service records that I can share You know, everything from doing the timing system to changing out trans fluid, everything like that. This car has been really well taken care of by the first owner. The second owner, he used it for charity events. So it was like a, you know, drive it around on gumball rallies, stuff like that. Daily drove it as well. So the first owner, she was pretty cool, and the second owner, he was pretty awesome as well. And I hope that you appreciate the stored history of this car, and it explains the 2 stickers on the back. And I can share with you some pictures of the car in Switzerland, Italy, stuff like that. It's just pretty amazing, the history of this car. Alrighty, thanks. Bye.